Welcome back, family. Lancescurv here. I'm happy for you to join me once again. Like always, my mission is to always go deep into human nature. And sometimes it may not be comfortable to many people, and oftentimes it is. I'm into a journey of self-discovery, even after being online on social media for the past 25 years, daily. Once this February comes, that'll be my milestone. But that being said, I wonder where the time has gone. But when you do something that you love, it can never be a burden. Well, today, I want to speak about, or rather, this is titled, When Your Mind Outgrows Social Circles. Having few or no friends is often treated like a social defect. People assume something went wrong. That effort was lacking. That connection was avoided. But that explanation doesn't fit everyone's experience. Sometimes distance isn't caused by conflict or neglect. Sometimes it's in the mind quietly rejecting what doesn't align. The same way the body rejects poison. As awareness increases, fitting in becomes harder, not easier. Certain behaviors that once felt harmless begin to feel draining. Certain conversations start to feel empty. Certain social spaces begin to trigger discomfort instead of connection. That shift can be very confusing, especially when it happens without drama or hostility. This doesn't automatically mean something is broken. It doesn't mean superiority either. It means the mind has moved to a level of awareness most people never examine. At each level, what you tolerate changes. What you trust narrows. What you can't unsee expands. Many people have felt lonely in groups while laughing alongside others. Many have felt more isolated, surrounded by friends, than sitting alone. Pulling back, ignoring messages, disappearing for weeks doesn't always come from dislike. Often it comes from mental exhaustion. This pattern deserves clarity, not motivation. What follows isn't a story about improvement or fixing yourself. It's an examination of a psychological progression that explains why some people end up with fewer connections as awareness deepens. The first shift doesn't come from fear or insecurity. It comes from how the mind works. Cognitive independence changes how connection forms. Most social bonding relies on mirroring, shared reactions, shared opinions, shared emotional timing. Agreement builds trust quickly, even when understanding is shallow. An independent mind interrupts that process. You don't adopt ideas just to belong. You don't mirror reactions automatically. Agreement only comes after reflection, not instinct. Disagreement doesn't need to be spoken to be felt. Pauses, hesitation, and quiet evaluation disrupt social rhythm. This isn't arrogance, it's restraint. You value clarity over comfort, but that restraint slows bonding. In environments that reward speed and certainty, thinking carefully creates distance. You gain clarity, but lose frictionless belonging. At this stage, what creates distance isn't what people say, but what sits beneath it. Social spaces often run on performance, words adjusted to the room, laughter placed strategically, identity signaled instead of expressed. Once this becomes visible, it can't be unseen. Conversations feel hollow, not because they lack content, but because they lack honesty. You leave interactions unchanged and unusually tired. Withdrawal follows quietly. You stop offering energy to spaces that require constant performance. From the outside, this looks like detachment. Internally, it's self-protection. You refuse to trade authenticity for acceptance, even when acceptance would be easier. Here, the distance grows inward. You don't just participate in interactions. You observe yourself inside of them. Tone, timing, power dynamics, emotional shifts all register automatically. You notice who seeks approval and who avoids conflict. You sense when agreement is strategic and when silence speaks louder than words. This awareness doesn't shut off. It creates mental fatigue, even in positive spaces. Solitude becomes restorative because it quiets the internal noise. Social environments amplify it. Stepping back isn't avoidance, it's recalibration. And with each step back, the circle grows smaller. Most friendships grow through emotional exchange, sharing stress, leaning, venting. Emotional dependence accelerates bonding, but emotional self-sufficiency changes that process. You regulate internally. When things go wrong, reflection comes before reaching outward. This isn't emotional closure, it's emotional stability. But it disrupts bonding because dependence creates quick intimacy, and independence slows it. From the outside, this looks distant. Inside, it feels grounded. You don't confuse intensity with closeness. In a world that equates need with connection, that distinction quietly isolates. At this stage, separation isn't about people, it's about reward. Social systems often trade attention for presence, likes, praise, inclusion, recognition. For many, that's enough. For you, it isn't. Surface validation registers but doesn't last. Crowds feel energetic but empty. You leave with stimulation instead of nourishment. solitude becomes preferable, not because it flatters you, but because it doesn't lie. It offers clarity without performance. You lose quick bonds, but keep coherence. And for some minds, coherence matters more than applause. The distance is quiet, not rebellion, no declaration, just a growing sense of moving at a different rhythm. You try to adjust. You soften edges. You stay silent to preserve harmony. But compromise accumulates. You leave earlier, respond less, decline invitations without explanation. This isn't rejection, it's preservation. Alignment matters more than inclusion. The exit is subtle. Most don't notice until you're already gone. At the deepest level, separation isn't social, it's existential. Some minds are organized around meaning rather than belonging. Questions of purpose, coherence, and truth aren't optional. They shape what feels tolerable. Belonging answers where you fit. Meaning answers why you exist. When meaning comes first, social life narrows as consequence, not punishment. Depth slows you down. It makes shared illusions uncomfortable. Conversations built on distraction feel insufficient. Historically, this pattern isn't new. Thinkers and observers often lived on the edges, not by rebellion, but by inward pull. At this level, having few or no friends isn't a symptom, it's a side effect. None of this is painless. Silence can ache. There are moments when absence feels heavy, when you wish someone could witness your inner life. Distance gets misread as coldness, selectivity as arrogance. Explaining yourself becomes exhausting. Doubt creeps in during quiet hours. Romanticizing solitude is dangerous. Solitude can clarify, but it can also hurt. Acknowledging the cost doesn't weaken the insight, it grounds it. This doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're special. It means your psychology is configured differently with different trade-offs. Some minds optimize for belonging. Others optimize for coherence. Neither is superior. Each sacrifices something. Understand this removes confusion. You don't need to force yourself into draining spaces, and you don't need to isolate completely to protect yourself. What matters is choosing consciously instead of drifting silently. Having few or no friends doesn't automatically mean fear or deficiency. It sometimes means your thresholds are different. Clarity may be quiet, but it's stabilizing. And sometimes understanding your mind is the deepest connection you'll ever need. I hope this spoke to somebody, and this is how I feel. In my journey of digging deep into myself, I'm very happy and comfortable with the decisions that I've made in my life and the way I move now. And if you agree, fine. If you don't understand, maybe one day you will. Leave a comment. Know that I appreciate your presence here. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. I love you all. Peace.